I was a brand new trainee, East LA, 1989, and my TO, Roy Burns. So he's driving me through Winter Gardens, which is an LAPD patrolled area. We pull up, it was sundown, so we had our headlights on, all the veteranos were out, and then we started pulling back. All of a sudden we hear, all right, motherfuckers, get the hell out of here. Roy being Roy stops, places in reverse, and pulls back in. So when we get out of the car, we start walking forward towards the group that us. And right when we get past the headlight, they can see the uniforms. Gangsters all of a sudden, oh, deputy, we're sorry, we thought you were LAPD.
Welcome to the Proper Scoundrel Show.
Mike, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Adam.
That's a good day for me.
It's a good day for me, too.
I've been looking forward to this.
Good to finally meet you.
You first walked in, I told you. You've trained me.
Yeah.
I've never talked to you outside of training. You probably yelled at me for doing something stupid. But you were always training me because I went to T.A.S a bunch of times. I went to Laser Village more than I can count.
Right.
But outstanding training, outstanding unit.
Yeah, it was a great unit back then. I was there for, surprisingly, 17 years as a supervisor.
Whoa.
And that is a lot longer than I expected. But I loved that job so much. It wasn't part of my plan to stay there, but I loved it so much that I thought, okay, I felt motivated day to day. I felt like I was doing something good. I felt like we were doing something good, not only for the deputy, but for the department.
Absolutely. When the department went away from standing in one line to shooting at paper targets,
yeah.
and they went into T.A.S, which is tactics and survival. They went into active shooter mode, real life scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
And they changed, the department saw a need for, let's teach these guys how it would be in the field instead of standing in front of a silhouette.
Exactly.
And our sheriff's department, T.A.S, I can only speak for that, outstanding training, outstanding real world training, as close as you can get, because we'll shoot at each other
right.
with munitions.
Yeah, the force on force was great.
Yeah. But how'd you like that?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I went there as a student.
Oh, you did?
Yes. And then when I was at force training, some of the Laser Village guys, this was pre-T.A.S, needed some help. So we'd go there, help them out. And we were the bad guys, we were the ones that getting shot at and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I absolutely loved it. I thought, hey, this is as close as you can get to real life without actually taking a real bullet.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was great training. And then, a few years later, here I was, transferred to tactics and survival as the supervisor. And from there, I was like, okay, you know what, let's go ahead and make a difference.
Take it up a notch.
Yeah, and we did. That was one thing that I was very fortunate enough to have was we were left alone to be able to advance training. And, we started studying different shootings, not only deputy-involved shootings within our department, but other agencies, high-risk incidents, analyzed those things for lessons learned. Took a lot of lessons from other agencies as well, best practices. And then, we talked to the guys like, hey, let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do to promote that type of training, the standard, within the sheriff department. And it just continued. I had a great group of instructors with me.
Sometimes you get training in the academy. It's very robotic. It's very post-certified. Get the click these little check marks and you're good to go. Move on. T.A.S is very not like that. It's very improvised. You guys can move it around and change the scenarios around all the time.
You have to.
You've done it once and you go back to the training maybe 3 months later and you've moved it.
Oh, yeah.
You think the same guy is going to jump out of the same place. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the students that go out there, or have to go out there on a yearly or every couple of years, they're like, yeah, I know the facility. Yeah, I remember this scenario, but we tweak it a little and they realize, okay.
No, you can't take anything for granted.
No, you have to have situational awareness, that's your best weapon other than having to fight, initially. And if you got to have that situational awareness switched on.
Absolutely. That's what makes you better. It makes you better.
100%.
Doing the generic scenarios is kind of a waste of time to me. I want to see something different. I want to be challenged. I like that, and there's certain people that like that too. So I think that's good. I love that part of it.
Being challenged, I'll tell you, I wish most law enforcement officers had that same mindset, because human beings learn from making mistakes. and you make your mistakes when you're challenged. Because if you're not challenged, then you're never going to progress. You're never going to get a better knowledge base or better skill set. So I like that. Yeah, I was a student of my craft, so I like being challenged myself. I was the type of student where when the instructor says, "Okay, I need a volunteer," I was like, "I'll do it."
That's good.
First guy up, because I figure, well, if I'm going to screw it up, I want to screw it up now.
Yeah.
So that way I'm going to learn from it, and then I'm going to learn from watching everyone else to after me.
Yeah.
So and that's what I liked about the training.
The sheriff's department is I think they should be setting an example for the whole country, because changing the tactics, changing the scenarios, not doing the same thing over and over, not being redundant, actually being very unpredictable, makes better deputies. It makes you more aware. It makes you a better cop. I mean, when we started doing night stuff, I remember we started doing with our flashlights. I remember that I went to the first one. I go, oh, this is something.
It's different
because I work nights,
right?
And that flashlight changes your whole world.
Oh, absolutely.
Working with a flashlight at night, which most of the time we're doing. You guys went at it, man. How to hold the flashlight, how to not backlight people, how to move, all the stuff. It was so awesome.
Yeah, and there's a lot to low light tactics. Not only learning how to use the light to your advantage, but when it comes to perception, because light moves. You see movement. You may perceive something that truly isn't. Because it's just light variation. So yeah, there's a lot to it. And you know what? I wish that departments would do more of that, because most of the shootings occur in low light conditions, whether you're outside in low light or whether you're inside in low light. So
we did a lot of that. Yeah. I remember we did a lot of low light. We did a lot of entry stuff with the light and simunitions. That shit, that'll open your eyes to how crazy things get, how target acquisition is very difficult.
Oh, no
especially
doubt.
Especially when you don't know who your players are.
Right.
Because, you can make mistakes.
A lot of mistakes.
So the light is a big deal, and being comfortable with it and being proficient in it is a big deal. And I love that the sheriff's department said, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
They didn't shy away from it, because it can cause a lot of problems too, because people start doing crazy stuff with the light.
No, absolutely.
But it made you comfortable. It made you figure it out.
It made you comfortable. It made you realize advantages and disadvantages. It made you slow down at times when you needed to slow down. So, it brings about a lot of things that most people aren't exposed to.
Yeah. Well, I did OSS for a minute, and moving through a house in the dark, going into a bedroom with that light. Your lighting, you're very, very limited in what you see.
Right.
And they have the advantage of it's their home.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So you're trying to make an entry, and you know how you stack up and you make your entry into every room. That light changes the whole world. And if you don't practice that, I don't see how that's not a thing in some departments. You're not the same person. It's a totally different person with that light.
Totally different. And
I love that we're doing it again. And it's hard. Believe me, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to mess it up.
Oh, no doubt.
But you need to do it more and more and more. I heard people saying, man, I hate doing low light, because it's hard.
It is hard. Yeah.
It takes a lot of, you get shot, you get hurt, you mess it up over and over, but you're getting better with it.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, getting better.
Don't shy away from the pain.
No, don't. No, there's that, once you get hit, you realize, okay, I made a mistake. And I'm going to remember this.
Yeah, because it's going to leave a scar.
Yeah.
Simunitions.
No doubt. Either a physical scar or mental scar, right? So
I had Angel in here, Rodriguez from East LA, and he's like, I have scars from Laser Village. I said, I do too. It takes the skin off you. It'll make you bleed.
And you know what? A lot of students that go there, it's like, man, you guys light us up. It's like, hey, you guys light us up, the instructors. Don't think that the instructors don't have scars. I mean, I got pictures of guys, my guys that take shots to the throat, take shots to the face, and not only just, the arms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're
beat up.
Yeah. We get a lot of scars. That's why you see it evolve where a lot of our bad guys, have all the protective equipment in the world. Because after a while, you're like, the newer instructors, they might go light. I'm just going to go with, a light shirt and a helmet.
Yeah.
And then they get beat up and they get shot up. And then after that, they're like, I'm going to put everything on, because I'm going to get lit up by multiple students and it hurts.
Yeah, over and over. Yeah. It's like the red man. He's going to get the bruises. But I remember when we first started, we had the neck guard. They had
Yes.
the neck guard because that was
Yeah.
you get in the neck. Then they stopped using them. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, we don't get shot in the neck anymore.
Yeah, we stopped using them. And the funny thing is that we stopped using it, and the students didn't get shot in the neck as much, but the instructors were getting shot lit up in the neck all the time. And, guys just in the background, So, and these are some of the things, again, part of the learning lesson at T.A.S. is, hey, you didn't check your back drop, and you hit the instructor with a yellow vest on, plain as day, nothing in his hands, and you're shooting them up, So, yeah, we, the instructors, laugh about that. We joke about it, but hey, it's a real life a learning lesson as well.
Yeah. I remember you did the car roll up in the night, felony pull over at night, and everybody's doing crazy stuff. People getting shot that weren't supposed to be getting shot.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's the time to do it. That's the time to make the mistake.
Yes, 100%. There were a lot of people that were getting shot that were not supposed to be getting shot, meaning that they weren't the actual suspect, or they weren't displaying a deadly threat, a lethal threat. But the perception, the perception was there. So we would debrief the student shooters like, hey, you shot that guy. Why? And, there's a lot of human factor involved. And that's one of the things that taught me, and that's what I loved about being there at T.A.S. is that, I was more drawn to the study of human performance and why we perceive things or why we misperceive things. We read things improperly. And that's when I realized, okay, we have to do better. We have to do better by ensuring that this stuff gets out. We have good scenarios that are solid where we try to minimize those misperceptions out in real life. Because when you think about it, you go there, you go to the academy, post-academy. You might have some training, maybe the academy recruits will go to T.A.S. or will go to, advanced officer training, get some scenarios. Then you go to patrol school. Patrol school gets some scenarios. Maybe they go to T.A.S. for, building entry and maybe a T-stop or two. But that's the only frame of reference that they're getting. Yeah. But the department expects those individuals, those law enforcement officers, to go out there and do everything right. Yeah. Without the training, any more frame of references. So at T.A.S. we try to give them as much as we can when it comes to different frames of references. So that way, in real life, when you're doing that, that contact with a pedestrian, or you're rolling up into a disturbance or an active shooter event, we've given you a frame of reference. We've given you a blueprint to work on. So that way, when you see things evolve, you're like, oh, this looks familiar. I think I saw this before. Or a guy comes around the corner, can't see the hands, and instead of shooting him, you're challenging him, and you're trying to find out, are you a good guy, are you the bad guy? Things like that, because we've given you something that looked like that in training. But not everyone gets that training. No, only specialized units will get it. Yeah. And sometimes you got to know somebody. Yes. And you'll say, we're going to do something different. I went up to Smith House. And you can't use a Smith House, but that area outside, that grass area out there. And at GET, we were doing shooting out of the car. Mm-hmm. We were doing get out of the car, make it, move up, do all these different things, but shooting, partner shooting. Right. And your partner shooting like right here next to you. Yeah. And you're shooting right here, and then you reload, and the whole, I think it's Derek Steele. Yeah, Derek Steele. Yeah, right. Great Absolutely. Instructor. Oh, good dude. So we're doing all that, and then when no one was looking, we took off our headgear, because you got to know what it sounds like, because it changes everything again. These are things that real world stuff that will change your perception of everything. That shit is loud. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can't have something where it shocks you and distracts you for even a small moment, because if you're distracted all of a sudden, you might miss what's in front of you that's presenting a threat to you. Mm-hmm. And if you miss it, you could die, or it could be your partner's a life, because you weren't able to protect that person in time. Well, we do now. They'll put pepper spray in your eyeballs. Yeah. They'll tase you to let you know what it feels like. Right. But we'll never shoot without our headgear on. Yeah. Until you say, I want to do it on your own at a range. The sheriff's department doesn't do any ear protection off. Right.
but you're not going to have ear protection in a gun battle.
And I think everyone should know what it sounds like. You know, what it sounds like to be standing next to a person. Civilians need that. That's not saying that, you know, hey, we go to a training day at the range and we're just going to do a full day with, you know, a few hundred rounds without an ear pro, because, you know, obviously that's not good. But you need to hear that. Yeah. You need to know what it feels like, because there's a lot of people, you know, obviously when it comes to deputy involved or officer involved shootings, where you get that. You know, part of it is auditory exclusion. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I heard the gunshots," or some people say, "I did not hear the gunshots." But it's still part of human performance. You have to be introduced to that. You have to be exposed to that.
I didn't have that knowledge until I went to the shrink and he taught it to me, because I got into my thing.
Okay.
And he told me about auditory exclusion.
Right.
Because he asked me what it sounded like, and I said it sounded like a champagne popper. Mm-hmm. And he said. He's done the studies with SCB. The guys who made the turn-in contacted sounded like a party popper. The guys who were around the wall and didn't know the shooting was going to happen, it sounded like a bomb went off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they didn't expect the shooting, so they didn't get any exclusion. You don't know this until it happens.
No.
You know, and you don't know if it's going to happen. It might be loud.
Right.
So the ones who don't expect it, usually they're surprised. The ones who expect it, supposedly the body can shut off the hearing. It's an amazing thing. It happened to me.
Yes.
But if you don't know it, what are you going to do? I mean, it's like we talk about, if you don't train for something, how do you know how you're going to perform? Exactly. You have to train for it. So we should at least once take off the gear and shoot some rounds and let your ear ring. It's going to hurt. But at least you'll know what it sounds like and it won't shock you the first time. It's like the flashbang. I mean, that's what the flashbang is, just to disorient.
Absolutely.
People lose their minds when a flashbang goes off.
Oh, yeah.
It's the loudest thing you'll ever hear in your life.
That noise and that flash, you know.
I've been by it when I didn't know it was going to happen, and it shocked my core.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we worked with flashbangs. We trained with flashbangs. And then I went through a flashbang instructor course, you know. They call it NFDD, Noise Flash Distractionary Device. And they're throwing flashbangs at us in a small room. Literally like at your feet, you know, and I'm turning away from it and stuff just to get you still feel the concussion.
But you want to get blinded.
It's loud, you know, and I wasn't staring at it to see the flash and kick debris into my eyes, because I thought, okay, I know what that's like. So, but it is still shocking, you know.
Oh my God, it vibrates your body.
It does.
It's like a concussion on your whole entire body.
It goes through you. That's why I thought, hey, this is a great tool. Now I understand why this is a tool that would be effective during entries. You know, but
you don't know what it is. It's gonna ruin you.
Oh yeah.
How do you perform with that first time effect?
Absolutely.
You know, I just they threw one when we didn't know they were going to throw one, and everybody on the team was just gone.
See, and like I said, that's part of the blueprint. That's part of exposing, giving you a frame of reference. You know.
Yeah.
So that way it's like, okay, I know what that is, and I know how we're supposed to react. Hey, push on. You know, let's get on with it. So
maybe that's something that I've always thought. Maybe the range should do something like that. Okay, the academy. Yeah. Everybody take off your gear. We're going to fire one round.
Right.
So you know exactly what this is going to sound like. Because it will change your performance. If someone loses it and they're disoriented, you're ineffective in the field. And you could get hurt. Your partners could get hurt.
100%. And when it comes to being disoriented, people are different when it comes to snapping back too, you know, getting back into the fight.
Yep.
You know, that's why we talk about combat breathing, you know, to get the auditory exclusion out, to get away from the tunnel visions. Because some people might be just locked up. They're in condition white. They're like, I don't want to
useless.
Yeah, they're absolutely useless.
Now they're liability because they're in the way.
But if you're that type of person, you can train out of that.
Yeah.
You know, through exposure, you know, through proper breathing, through being able to handle and manage that combat stress.
Yep. I remember in the academy or even training, we did left hand, right hand, kneeling, prone. I mean, all these different reloading with your weak hand. Great stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, great stuff. No one trains with that on your own.
No.
At the academy, and even after training, we're doing, okay, what if your right hand is incapacitated?
Yes.
Now reload left-handed with one hand. And we did it. And these are great tools, but I think there's more to it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more to it. And you know, I mean, we talk about it as retirees talking about, you know, back then, but it's something that we need to continue to train, you know, and,
your experience,
and civilians need to train.
When you left, I mean, that's how much that walked out the door. I know you're still in contact.
Yeah.
But man.
But you know what, there's most of my guys, when I say my guys, the guys that I worked with as instructors, you know, guys at T.A.S, when I was there, we were old guys. We were all old. We were all over 50, very tenured, did many years out in the field, years of DV, specialized units, and then, you know, and here we were. So within 3 or 4 years of my retirement, a lot of guys started leaving. A lot of those old heads started leaving. And then after me, I mean, the unit just got decimated. Oh, yeah. All that knowledge base, that institutional knowledge just left. Because you can't roll up as you might be a good dude, you know, good patrol guy, proficient at, you know, whatever skill set, you know, good detective, you know, good at specialized unit. But you go there as an instructor, it takes a couple of years to learn all the different things that we have to teach. So, and, you know, having all my guys all of a sudden just leave, and then now, you know, you have a bunch of newer guys that are being developed as instructors, you know.
It's like losing all your TOs at a station.
Yeah, absolutely.
You lose that continuity. Yeah. You know, I had Dale Hedges in here, and he's one of the old guys.
Old Dale. Yeah, he was I remember him when I was going through the academy.
Yeah, you know? He was a range instructor, so we talked a little about that. That's something that should be kept. I think they should get these guys back. Yeah. Because until you train up the newer guys, they should stay. Yeah. Because you don't want to lose that, man. It's too important.
No.
It's way too important.
It gets because if you lose the institutional knowledge, everything gets watered down.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. The new guy doesn't know to teach the stuff you guys know. He doesn't know it.
No.
So you have to teach it. That's why we talk about training officers having years. They don't just leave. They train the new guys.
Unfortunately, you're right, because I hear that in different facets of the organization, whether it's, you know, filing cases, writing reports, for God's sakes, you know, as simple as that. But then you talk about tactics, you talk about shooting, you talk about, you know, active shooter response. Everything gets lost. If
we could play crazy here, I got 4 of the older heads and put them back right now in T.A.S for a month. It would change the whole dynamic of that unit again.
Oh, I guarantee it would.
But the deputies in the field will get training that they need. I mean, you're saying, well, they retired, but there's got to be a way to say, no, we need to bring these guys back because it's too important. It's life and death. Yes. You can't water this stuff down. You can't. And I've seen mistakes, that were corrected by you guys. If you're not correcting, they don't know it's a mistake.
No.
And in the field, there's no room for mistakes.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you don't want to learn those hard lessons out in the field. You want to learn the hard lessons during training.
Yeah. You know? I've thought about it, man. Maybe if there's some changes coming up, maybe they can do some kind of program.
And they should. In my opinion, they should.
Especially that.
I think that's a great idea, because you've lost a lot of knowledge base. Mm-hmm. You start picking apart the different training units within our organization and take a look at the knowledge base that is there now compared to the way it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and who's left and the level of training. But that also translates to leadership.
Yeah. There we go.
You know?
There we go right there.
So
that's the key word right there, man. But I think it would be outstanding. I think it would be good for the guys in the field. It's going to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it will.
There's some people that are going to get their feelings hurt.
Yeah.
But it's for the bigger picture.
Yeah, but right?
Yeah. I don't care. If I'm that new recruit, I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the watered down version. Yeah. I want to hear what's going to save me and let me go home to my family.
Yeah, you can't be a gatekeeper. You can't be you can't be the gatekeeper of what you think is solid when everyone else knows it's not solid.
And they might learn something though.
That's what I always say. You guys just might learn something, you know?
All the time.
every time, the funny thing is I still teach. I still teach different agencies. Was fortunate enough to teach a group of LAPD guys, and their supervisor had reached out to me and like, hey, you know what, you taught us this, some shield tactics and stuff, and I was wondering if during our conversation, I realized that you have some certain skill sets when it comes to instructing and a knowledge base, active shooter stuff and movement. It's like, can we get you to teach some of our guys this, expose us to that? I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, that's like my hobby.
Yeah.
I still love doing that. I still love dealing with people. Yeah. And I tell them, I'm not going to tell you that this is the right way to do it. I just want to expose you to different ways. And we tell that, at T.A.S, we used to be a regional training center. So we trained a lot of different agencies, state, local, federal. And we would start off by telling them this isn't the only way. It's a way. So take it for what you take the instruction and see what works for you. If it doesn't work for you, toss it out the window. If it works for you, go ahead and practice it. We're just not, we don't want to force feed. But here I am, having allied agencies, then, loving the training, and then still now reaching out to me and say, hey, do you mind teaching us this,
Well, they see the importance in it.
Yeah.
And that's smart.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's being smart, not having ego. That's being smart.
And that's it. These guys, even the young LAPD officers, no egos. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, I like this stuff. Teach us more. And forward thinking and great leadership for the lieutenant who wants to give them the training. Because I thought, you know what? Those are the type of guys that need to lead those type of agencies. And I'll tell you, I've had a great relationship with our brothers in blue in the past. We've had the friendly competition. I mean, they know that we're better.
Why are the sheriffs better?
Yeah.
Why would you say?
Yeah. Well, I say that in jest.
I know that,
but I think it's because of the way we grew up. We grew up in the jails. Yeah. We grew up learning how to deal with a certain type of criminal element, the mindset. And, like I learned in the academy, hey, you go to custody, you pick the inmate's brain. They will tell you everything. And, by God, they did. They did. So when I went out to patrol, I knew a lot more than a brand new patrol officer, not deputy sheriff, So, and that I had a head up, I believe. So I think that helps us out. We learn how to deal with people. And here's just a side note. I have a buddy in the gym who's a great boxing instructor. He grew up in East LA, and he knew I was, I patrolled the streets in East LA, and great dude, veterano type. Yeah. And but he was a baby when I was out there. Okay. He was telling me the other day, he's like, man, he says, Mike, I'll tell you, it's different now, law enforcement, than the way it was then. He says, back then, I would tell people I'd rather get pulled over by a deputy sheriff. And so, why is that? He says, because deputies, they were more real. They knew how to deal with my type. And the other uniforms, they're like, they come at me hard because they don't know how to deal with me, or they're scared, and they're like to the letter of the law versus you guys that, hey, if we're cool, you're cool, and we're on our way. Yeah. If we're not doing anything, then we're good to go. You see, there's a level of respect there. And I'll tell you this story. I was a brand new trainee, East LA, July 1989. And my TO, Roy Burns, he was my TO for
Roy
6
Burns
months.
Was your TO?
Yeah, for 6 months.
Come on, man. Really?
Yes, 6 months.
How lucky are you?
Roy and I had become great friends, and I have tremendous respect for the guy.
He's a legend, man.
He's a legend, and I'll tell you what, I think he primed my mindset. But we're driving through Winter Gardens. He's showing me that area. We worked 21 Adams area up in the Alps. So he's driving me through Winter Gardens, which is an LAPD patrolled area.
Yeah.
So we're going through there, and it just so happened that a few months prior, a couple of our guys had shot and killed one of the gangsters there. So it was already a volatile situation when it comes to deputies being in that Winter Gardens area. So we're driving through, and he's showing me who's who, what's what, showing me the different buildings. So we pull up, summer in July, a hot summer night, July. We pull up, it was sundown, so we had our headlights on, but you could still see people, you know. It was dusk. There were all the veteranos were out, all the little homies were out. They were all barbecuing. So we pull up, and he's showing me the different buildings. He's trying to point people out that I should know. Mm-hmm. And then we started pulling back, and we hear, so you can cut this out, my language, but all of a sudden we hear, "All right, motherfuckers, get the hell out of here," as we're pulling out. So Roy being Roy, he stops, places in reverse, and pulls back in. During my time, my head was like, I'm looking at addresses, you know, and making sure my radios. Actually, we didn't have handhelds. It was a car radio. I'm making sure it's on the right frequency and stuff like that, rather than being on LTAC. And I remember looking at addresses, and I'm going through all these things in my mind. I was like, okay, I'm going to get in a fight. There's a lot of them. Potentially, I might have to turn lethal. So all these things were going through my mind. So we get out of the car. We dismount. We start walking forward towards the group that motherfucked us. And right when we get past the headlights, so now they can see the uniforms. Mm-hmm. The gangsters all of a sudden, deputy, we're sorry. We thought you were LAPD. and Roy looks at me, gets that big grin on his face, says, "All right, gents, you guys have a good barbecue." We get in the car and we drive off. and I remember thinking, wow, okay,
damn,
it's like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and that's what I realized being in patrol, you know, of how we deputy sheriffs were treated then compared to our brothers in blue.
Yeah. A lot of that, because I grew up in those two areas. I grew up in the area, so I knew both.
Yeah.
But I was about 2 blocks from Firestone Station. Oh, yeah, about a block and a half. So we knew what to do.
Right.
It all depended on who got out of that car, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was different attitude, you know?
Yeah, different attitude.
We never mouthed off, but you knew what you were going to be treated like.
Right.
You weren't treated like shit.
Yeah.
By the deputies. It was just, they were hunting, man.
Oh, yeah.
If you weren't prey, you're a waste of their time.
Absolutely.
It's like, you guys are doing what? Oh, you look good? Okay, go away.
Get out of here, yeah.
Because they're looking for the bad guys.
Absolutely.
And that was fine. I wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
Now, maybe someday I might have been a bad guy. Then they would have got me. You know, they knew they weren't picking on people. They were looking for specific problem children. And if they got them, they were happy. They were hunting, man. They were looking for guns.
And the community liked that.
Because they only took the ones we wanted out of the neighborhood anyways.
100%.
And then the only person to complain was the family of that person, of course.
Yes, of course.
But the other people were like, they're tired of their shit too.
Yeah.
So when the deputies took somebody away, we're like, yeah, we know he's so-and-so's cousin, but he's a piece of crap.
Yep.
He's been breaking everybody's houses. Take him, please. Yes. But no one says anything, but right. you're happy about it.
Those stories were interesting because it was a respect thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't necessarily a fear thing. It could have been if it got to where it became violent. But, you know, it didn't get violent all the time. No. That was rare. But the respect was there to where, you know, like I thought when, you know, that story with Roy, when I got back in the car, it's like, man, thank God I didn't have to, you know, shoot anyone. You know?
Command presence, man.
Absolutely.
It works.
And that's what I realized. and because of that respect, that command presence, I believe that we probably used less force because of that command presence. Because when we showed up, people looked and like, oh, they're here.
Yep.
And they stood tall and they complied.
You can change a neighborhood.
You can.
Just by being in that car, driving down the street and being a deputy sheriff. You can change a neighborhood. If they see you enough and you stop and talk to people and everybody knows who you are and the other people see that this guy's always around the neighborhood, they're going to act different. And the criminals, they'll move along.
Oh, 100%.
For the most part. And it worked. Those are good days.
Yeah, those were good days.
They still have it. I've seen them out there. They still have it. They were in the same uniform.
I got into law enforcement wanting to help people, like most people that want to get into law enforcement. And I believe I did that during the time that I was out in the field. I was out there pre-Rodney King and post-Rodney King. And I remember when Rodney King happened, and I remember the old guys telling us, like, you know what, it's going to change from here on, and it did change.
Yep.
And then we got better and we got back into the swing of things. Mm-hmm. And then I found myself telling the new guys the same thing. It's like, it's changed, especially in 2020 and stuff. I was telling, I wasn't out in the field, but I was telling the newer guys out in the fields, it's like you'll see the change from here on, because politics are going to change and everything's going to change. Expectations are going to change.
Yeah.
So you guys have to continue to evolve, because I did. And I remember old guys telling me, I don't know how you're going to do police work nowadays. But we continued because we adapted. Then I find myself telling the new guys, like, you guys got to adapt now in order to do good, solid police work. And adapting means know your shit.
Yep. If you watched anything, that's what we talk about. And I know we're not working anymore, so it makes it sound easy that we're saying, just do it, whatever. There's always a way. There's always a way. You just got to figure out where your parameters and work in those parameters. There's always a way, because I was in the same thing. Rodney King, everything changed. Right. The LAPD baton thing, everything changed. There was these moments, and I remember people telling me, "It comes in waves, kid. It comes. They like us, they hate us. They like us, they hate us." Yeah. And right now we're in the they hate us. It'll come back, and it did.
It will come back,
and it comes back and forth, because sooner or later it gets so bad that they need someone to fix things again. But the sheriff's department and law enforcement in general, I know it's been watered down. It's been neutered a little bit. The sheriff's department is probably the last ones I see that they're trying to make into fire department, to show up when they get a call.
Yeah.
And they're never going to be able to fix it totally, because we work the jails.
Yes.
Now, the difference is all these other departments have chiefs, and I get that. But the jails makes you a different person.
It does.
It does. When you get out of that jail and you get into the patrol car, and then you start hearing the tradition of the sheriff's department, it might turn into something like a regular PD, but it's harder because of the jail.
Right.
Because there's so much they can do to you. When you're in a module by yourself, there's no politics.
Absolutely not.
You're racking doors. There's no politics. There's no one telling you can't do this, you can't do that, because it's survival.
And no one cares about what policy dictates your actions.
When an inmate jumps off the bunk at you, you got to take care of business.
Absolutely.
There's nobody saying don't touch him, don't do this. No, you're fighting for your life.
Yes.
And they're always playing their games, so you're learning how to work around their games and not let them get over on you. And then your safety, you're always watching your back, and you're always protecting each other. So you have this group, the bond. You go to the field, you can't erase that by you saying, "Oh, you guys can't do that anymore." Right. No, it's instilled from the jail. So unless they take the jail away from the sheriff's department, they're never going to get rid of that.
Yeah,
they can weaken it. Then they have, but that's more because of attrition. Guys just are leaving. But I see the sheriff's department as the last bastion of hope, man, because the jails, and we hate the jails, but it's probably the saving grace right now.
Oh yeah, I did not want to go back to custody.
No,
I'm glad I spent a minute time in custody, but it definitely shaped me as a deputy sheriff.
I wanted out so bad, but I didn't know what I was doing. It was great training.
But don't you wish that deputy sheriffs got an extra post certificate for spending time? Because that's quite an education.
Yes,
that's quite the training and experience if you're doing it right.
Yeah,
you get to learn so much more, and you become such a better, more effective patrol deputy, detective, and just push it up the line. I mean, you just learn so much from working the jails.
And we get the luxury or the gift of the fact that all the criminals in the street spent time in the county.
Yeah.
So they sat there in their cells with us, opening the door when we wanted to, shutting the door when we wanted to, telling them when to eat,
right,
when to sleep, when to get their visits, telling them what to do all day long, just caging them, keeping them in cages. So you're the cage keeper, you're the innkeeper of the jail system, and then now they're on the street. They remember that subconsciously,
absolutely,
because they knew you were the person that didn't let them go to their visit because they acted stupid, put them in the hole for fighting, whatever. That discipline stuff. It's like dad. Now you're on the field, and they're doing their criminal shit, but they remember their jail time because they've all been in the county.
Oh, it's so accurate.
They have that memory of the guy who was in charge.
Yes.
So they talk to you different. I can talk to them different. They know they can't play the same games. You know, the mind games and that kind of stuff.
And that's the big thing.
It's a big thing.
They know they can't play the deputy. You know, because
they know we all started there.
The deputy has seen it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And they taught us. They taught us well. You know.
But you can talk to them even when they're doing their capering. I could talk to gangsters doing stupid shit, even shootings and stabbings. When I interviewed and did my stuff, you can talk to them in a way where they'll talk back to you.
Yeah.
And it's a respect that it's from the jail. I believe it's from the jail.
It is. I saw a trend where guys that knew how to talk to the gangsters, you know, you learn that in the jail, you take it to patrol, you cultivate it in patrol, and then, you know, you just become better, you know, compared to, you know, another police officer that's never had that experience, doesn't have that foundation. But I had a good group of guys. When I got there, there was like Boyd Zumwalt. There was a bunch of guys working a special problems team, and my thought was, man, I want to be one of them one day. And lo and behold, then I ended up going to special problems team. You know, I had Ray Lugo, Zumwalt. And all those guys ended up going to homicide.
Oh yeah,
but prior to that, I would sit there and, you know, because special property, we can work our own cases from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And, you know, you sit there and you'd hook someone, you talk to them, and it leads to this, it leads to that. Mm-hmm. But it was great work because I learned how to talk to people, or I refined how to do my interviews based on how they did it. Because I used to think, man, these guys, everyone talked to them. It's like, I don't get it, you know? It's like...
Yep.
You hook up great. A guy, next thing you know, they're just spitting up all over themselves, and they're giving them all the information in the world.
But they're not telling you this is how you do it.
Yeah.
They're not saying, hey, man, this is what you start with. This is what you do. You have to watch it, and you have to see how it works.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of investigators who want you to go in their interviews with them. Mm-hmm. They like to have somebody in the room with them when they interview. I always interviewed alone. I always talk about it. I always interviewed alone. It was just my preference. Okay. I'm just saying that's what I like to do. But my other teammates were like, hey, Adam, I'm going to interview this guy. You want to go? And I hated it because I had to put down what I was doing. And I would just sit in the back of the room and watch them interview. Right. And then they go, hey, you got anything? Yeah. And I'd throw some stuff out. I understand that sometimes you forget things and you can bounce off.
Yeah.
But I like being alone because I learned from two guys that would do it alone. And I watched it work. Because of that, I felt I could talk to them easier if they felt it was just one-on-one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to that.
That's what I felt. And then watching these guys do their interviews, the key to an interview to me was just getting them talking, just having them talk. And I learned that from Liam. Liam was real good on talking about stuff for 45 to an hour before you even talked about anything.
Right, yeah.
So just getting them talking, and it's not, they know you're trying to get something. It's not like they don't know you're trying to get them, but you're getting them talking, and they don't subconsciously, they're talking.
No, they're unlocking that gate.
Maybe an hour before we even talked about Miranda.
Yeah.
Depends on what you would have to feel when it was time. Like during the conversation and getting them built up, not asking specifics, so there's no Miranda issues. And then you break out Miranda when you think it's time, because you don't want them to invoke. That's the key.
Right.
No, you don't want to invoke. Yeah. Once I had them feeling comfortable that they could lie to me, that's the secret. Once you let them think they can lie to you, then you give them the Miranda. Because they're not going to give it to you if they think they're going to tell me the truth. Yeah. And I like the lies. The lies are great.
You can lock them down.
Because I can prove their lies are lies.
Absolutely.
And I can testify to they lied to me, and then the jury gets to see he was a liar. That's my thing. If you're not going to tell me the truth, I want him to lie to me.
Right.
So I didn't, the young deputy, you're thinking, I want him to confess. And that's not the way it works.
Not that often.
Not with gang members.
Yeah.
No, crimes of passion, there's differences. But gang members, there's a certain thing. Depends on their age, how tipped up they are. There's a lot of stuff. But if you don't learn from the older guys, you'll never understand that it could be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And you could be really good at your job because you can put a lot of bad people in jail.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I learned, because you go from that patrol mindset to more of an investigative mindset, and you go, man, there's a lot more to police work.
Then it gets fun. It gets interesting, and it makes you, challenges you.
Absolutely.
Sitting across from a guy that's a challenge to me. It's like playing chess.
Yeah.
It's just I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, I used to love that too. It's just it's getting what you want out of that, and like you say, through the rapport, through small chat, through just building something, or like you said, locking them down. Because that's kind of what I do now. When I work for attorneys and I have plaintiff's attorney asking me questions, it's like, okay, let's see,
let's do this,
let's do this. So I think that got me comfortable with the things that I can do now post law enforcement. So yeah, I welcome those challenges myself.
When I used to train the OSS guys, I would get my trainees in OSS. I would tell them, don't write anything down. Just go in the room like you don't even know who this person is. Yeah. And I would say, you're only going to ask questions from what he says. Don't go in there with a list of questions. Don't do it.
Right.
Get him to talk, know what you want, but then ask questions off of what he's telling you, and then let it go from there. And I've watched interviews where guys going hard, like, you did it, tell me. I want my lawyer. Okay, it's time to leave. So I know that's happening. It has to be happening because the guys that I know are all gone. Who would be teaching them?
Yeah, who would be teaching? Who's mentoring? Who's showing them that? Who's showing them the right way to talk to people versus the wrong way? There were times when working a patrol assignment, a special problem team assignment, we were given some latitude. So we were able to work from point A to point B, or A to Z, I should say, And that was such a big thing for me. That was the most fun, rather than just taking the report. If you don't make the arrest, taking the report and just filing it, or you make the arrest, you fill out the report and then you leave. But yeah, talking to individuals after you make the arrest,
going all the way with it, huh? And you guys got to file too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
We got to file, and that's one of the things that I had learned, and. We'd talk to the DB guys. If it's a DB handle, hey, you mind if we work this? Yeah, go ahead. We talk to the narco guys. Hey, you mind if we work this? Yeah, go ahead.
Nice.
Their thing is like,
yeah, get rid of it.
Go ahead.
You want some more?
Yeah. So it was a great experience.
Well, getting to talk to the DA and pitching your case because he doesn't want to file it.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to file anything.
Yeah, talking to the DA. Just filling out the paperwork, knowing the paperwork that I had to do. Writing warrants, taking that to have a judge sign it, answering the questions that the judge may have. And
then bring your return and he's all happy.
Yeah. And back then, we had to, it wasn't cut and paste. We had to write type everything
out.
On the computer.
No. Those are good days, man.
Yeah. But I learned a lot. And those were, now that we're talking about it, it's like, man, those were fun.
That's a fun job.
Because I was still learning, and I wanted to learn. Not that I'm not learning now, but it made me better at doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's also a little competition with your partners. You want to do well.
Yes.
You want the warrant to come up. You don't want to come up dry on a warrant. You want to get the gun you wanted to find. You want to get the guy you're looking for. You want to come up. So you work harder. Doing those dry runs isn't fun. You get no satisfaction out of that.
I learned that. No one had fun. It's like after that.
Yeah, it was like, oh man, you came big zero, big donut, and now you're buying breakfast.
Yeah, right.
But it makes you work harder. You have to have that personality though that you do it,
right?
Because it's hard work. It's writing a warrant.
It's a lot of work.
We're not lawyers. Yeah. Writing a warrant is lawyer speak.
Yes.
It's all in third person. You have to write it. So the judge reads it. It's going to go through everyone. And I've talked about how you write a warrant, you hit a house, it better be right. Because if something goes wrong, they're going to take your warrant, and you got to stand tall that you
absolutely,
or you didn't do your workup, you didn't do your rib right.
That's your reputation.
Someone gets hurt on one of your warrants, they're going to take your warrant and they're going to just fine tooth comb it, and you better have your shit together. That's what I used to do when I trained my OSS guys. Said there's no shortcuts,
and that's one of the things that I had learned too.
You will stand tall. It better be tight.
You got to be dialed in.
That's why I love the group of guys I work with, because Sheriff's Department trained us right.
Yeah.
We did good. We had fun.
Absolutely.
A lot of good times.
Yeah, you guys did a lot of great work.
It was a good unit. Yeah. It was, hopefully. I mean, we talked about the uniform thing, like when Roy and you got out of the car. Now you get out with a green jacket.
Oh, yeah.
It was like level up.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys already had it, but
right.
Green jacket used to just...
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned in previous podcasts, like, hey, I want to talk to the Green Jackets. I want to talk to Green Jackets. We worked special problems teams. We had Green Jackets as well, and I know that helped us out. Yeah, because of our rapport. Because there's some times when the crook is not going to want to talk to the uniform, and then they see us like, I want to talk to those guys.
Because we can deal.
Yeah.
We can deal. OSS could deal, and they knew their best chance was us. Yeah. It really was, because they're going to try to come up and give something up. They know they can give stuff up, and we know if they're full of shit.
Yeah, and that's what we did too. That's how we worked cases. That's why we taught DAs, like, hey, can we kick this one? Because
he's got something stupid, but he knows about a murder, or he knows where some guns are. Because I used to say 2 guns. You got to give me 2 guns.
Oh yeah.
I need 2 straps, or you ain't getting out today. Yeah. Oh, I know where 1 is. No, sorry. Yeah. That was like some guy said 3. I want 3 straps. I want 4. Like a limit, like you're wheeling and dealing.
Right.
But it had to be something minor. It couldn't be something big.
You say, hey, you got to give us something good, And
I'm not letting you out till I get it.
Yeah.
Because I remember me and Ronnie went out looking for a strap one time. Some guy gave us, and it ended up coming up. AK-47.
Oh, yeah.
Brand new in the box. Turned out great. I don't know if you know Sal Munoz.
But I know Sal.
Sal, I'll tell you a story about Sal after that. after we're done. Yeah. But we got it, and we go back to the guy and kicked him loose. Then next time, same thing. They understand that you're working with them, and if you do it right, they'll do it again, again. They'll start calling you. You know how they do.
No, absolutely. And you get the phone calls and stuff like that. I remember one time, speaking of the phone calls, I get a phone call. I was working another special problems team. I get a call from, the desk, LTAC, tells me, hey, call the station. So I call the station, and I talked to back then they call them desk operations assistant, DOAs, or the civilians answering the lines. And so I talked to one of the ladies there. Said, hey, Harding, someone called, won't leave their name, but says that this gang is rolling in this neighborhood looking to shoot up this party. And I was like, nothing else? Like, nothing else. It's like, okay, thanks. I never knew who it was, never found out who it was. So I get my guys, and we're saturating the area, get the, not lock down the party, but lock it down to who was at the party. And we're driving around, and we decide, hey, let's just start stopping people, talking to them. Stop this one dude, gangster, but not from the neighborhood. We just knew him. He was just kind of a loner, bounced back and forth. Stop him, and he never carries a weapon. This night he had an ice pick with him. It's like, what are you doing with that? He says, some gangsters are roaming around. They hit me up. They pointed a gun at me, and I just need this for protection. I'm trying to get home. It's like, all right, get back to him. It's like, get on it. I get information from him, who the gangsters were, type of vehicle. So I get my other 2 partners, 911B, to meet us at this corner. And I'm debriefing them. Then I look up. Guess what I see? Turning down the street.
No way.
The truck. Down the street, down by some railroad tracks, and we do a stop. And, just on a side note, we used to think we were damn good tactically, but I realized we were just plain lucky. And this night was one of those nights.
Okay.
So we make a stop, knowing that there was a MAC-10 and an Uzi in there.
And you stopped. Okay.
And we stopped them, unmarked cars. We get the driver back, hook him up, and then I do some dumb stuff, sneaking around, doing ninja stuff, and the partners start getting the other passenger out, the driver's side, and I sneak up, and I got my gun out. bad guy doesn't know I'm there, but as he's going over the center portion of the bench seat, I see the Uzi and the MAC-10 right there underneath his butt. And I tell him, also, if you go for those, I'm going to kill you. And he says, not moving, Deputy Harding. I'm just, tell me what you guys want me to do and I'll do it. So nonetheless, we get him out. Gangsters knew us. And, we go to the station, 2 gangsters, Uzi and the MAC-10.
Nice.
All from people that call. Mm-hmm. And I know it was probably the other gangsters that didn't want to get shot up. Yeah. And they also knew that, hey, those guys will help us out. Mm-hmm.
It's rapport.
Call Harding, call those guys. They'll come around because, we were pretty aggressive in our policing.
They were trying to save somebody, probably. They thought they were going to hit the wrong person. Especially party calls.
Yeah, especially party calls.
They hit so many of the wrong people.
And the party call was in the gangster's neighborhood. Yeah. So it's not like a different gang going to a different gangster's neighborhood, but they were looking for for someone specific.
Let's pay back for something earlier, probably. You know how they do it, but innocents get hit on those things.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So you stop something, and those 2 guns are sprayers. Mm-hmm. You don't know what's going to hit on those.
And see, and we did stupid stuff. The tactics weren't.
We did
the tactics weren't.
In the 100%. Field, you do some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, now in hindsight, I tell people that story. It's like, man,
if it worked out, it was great.
If it worked out, it's like, great tactics. No, it's just luck. It's the way we do it here, right?
Yeah.
But I truly believe that since the gangsters had tremendous respect for us on what we could do, that they're like, oh man, it's those guys. Mm-hmm. They didn't run for it, didn't turn into a pursuit, mm-hmm. didn't turn into a shootout. They're like,
all right. You got me.
Yeah, because they know, those guys know us.
Yeah.
So I think that helped a lot.
They have to know you're the boss. Yeah. You're in charge. This is my street. You might claim it, but it's mine.
That's what I would tell them. I said, it's my street. When I'm working, it's mine, mm-hmm. and these are my rules.
Mm-hmm. The ones that go crazy is usually, I got to say it, it's the softer cop.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that too, where they're just being too nice to them.
I've seen that. Oh, man. But being too nice or too timid or not enough command presence.
Or just talking like your friends. I never called anybody by a moniker in my whole life. And when I worked with guys that would get out and go, hey, what's up, Sleepy? I'm like, mm-hmm. dude, why do you give them that respect?
Right.
Me? What's up, Jose?
Yeah.
What's up, Jaime? Come here. Jaime, get your ass over here. He's like, oh, and he comes over. God damn it, Cordova. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give him that respect. I want that separation. That's me. Like, this is another side note, going off tangent, but when I go to the jail, mm-hmm. the young deputies called you sir. And I was with the deputy. He's like, don't call me sir, that's my dad. And then he looked at me and he goes, hey, sir. And I go, hey, what's up? Yeah. And we kept walking. He goes, how come? I go, dude, I was him. He's showing me respect like I showed everybody respect. Yes. I never called anyone by their last name if they were older.
I still call my T.O. sir.
I use sir. I use sir all the time. I use sir all the time because it's a sign of respect. And it's not to be like I'm trying to be your buddy.
Yeah.
It's respect.
Yeah.
If I have respect, I'm going to call you sir. Someone told me the other day, don't call me sir. I go, I'll never stop calling you sir. And that's just me. I'm a 60-year-old man. You will always be sir.
I'm 100% with you.
So when the kids in the jail called some guy who's been on 28 years, sir, I'm not correcting him. And it's not a power trip. He wants to be in my shoes. I want to give him something to aspire to. You got to be in that guy that's going to not talk down to me and help him. I'll take care of that kid all day long. But he understands there is a separation. I'm not going to ruin it by being, hey, let's be pals.
Right.
And it's a thing that I believe in.
Yeah, I believe in that too. I grew up a military brat, so I got that from my dad. I got and I brought that onto the department, and I just carried it on. I still have youngsters. I'm retired. Youngsters, cops that I see in the gym. They always call me sir. I always laugh. I always tell my wife. I said, it's because I'm old. I know it. It's because I'm old. But they're very respectful and stuff like that. And they ask me questions, so I help them out. And they ask me, hey, can you give me some advice on this? Yeah, no problem. If I can. But it's a thing. Yeah. You got to let it go, and you just got to appreciate it because you were that person back in that day.
And you earned it.
Yeah.
You're not pretending, you earned it.
Yeah.
I know your career, you earned it. Yeah. You're a sir. I just think it's a thing that needs to stay.
Yeah.
And I don't correct it.
Back then when I worked, my buddies that promote, I see him with bars and stars, and I say, out in public, hey sir.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call him by their first name just to show everyone else like, oh yeah, this is my buddy. I know him personally, and I'm going to give him the respect that is due.
Well, there's a thing about it. I'm very got quirks, man. I remember when I got to jail, I got to 900, the hole in NCCF, and I started the building. I started bringing my guys in and putting them all in the stations because I got Prowl 1 in a month, just by luck. Everybody left.
Right.
It was through attrition. I'm the last one standing, so I ended up being Prowl 1 in 1 month.
Yeah,
brand new deputy.
I'm sure they saw some stuff.
Well, the sergeant said, I can't do that. I go, well, you can fire me.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, I'll give you a chance. And I kept it for the whole year I was there. But I brought in all the guys from the academy, all my buddies. So they took all the stations. It was fun. We had a blast. Never got any beefs.
Right.
Everybody took care of each other. But I would always call everybody in my building by first name. And they would call me Cordova. Hey, Cordova. Hey, Cordova. And I would start, hey, Artie. Hey, Danny. Lyndon. And I knew everybody's first name. Within a week, everybody's calling each other by the first name. Mm-hmm. And then somebody came in and said, how come you guys call each other by the first names? I said, I never played football with these guys. I said, they're my boys. These are my brothers.
Yeah.
I don't call my brother by his last name.
I know them by their first name.
We're first name basis.
Yeah.
First name basis to me is we're more than just workers, co-workers and deputies. We're brothers. We're friends. So, and then, dude, it spread. It spread. The whole jail started doing it spread because it was a thing. It became a thing where I'm more close to you now and I know you.
That's good.
And I think it worked. And it wasn't because I was trying to start something. It's just I felt more comfortable talking to my close friends by their first name.
Absolutely. That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah. And it was weird because that one staff station lady, she tells me, how come you guys? I said, I never really thought about it. Yeah. I said, but I always felt more comfortable. She goes, no, everybody's doing it. It's funny. It's actually funny to me. I know it's a side note.
That's funny, but that's a good thing because I think it kind of shows like, that is my buddy.
Yeah.
That is Adam.
Because you've been to stations where they're all last name, right?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what, you're right, because when they call each other by last name, I get it out in the field, but, as a small group in a station or a facility, when they're calling each other by last name, I think, they just don't know each other that well. It's like, that's, I don't call him by his first name. I call him by his last name because that's how I know him. Well,
to prove it, if you call your buddy on the phone on the weekend, do you call him his last name or his first name?
Right.
I mean, that's just proof right there that you're more than just a coworker.
Yeah. And the guys I work close with, whether it's specialized unit or at T.A.S, it was first name. It was never, last name.
Yeah. But in everybody else's last name, I know guys that still call each other. Hey, do you know this guy? And I go, why are you still using his last name? I don't understand that. Maybe that's so you can recognize him more because of the last name.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a dumb thing. What was the most, I got to go back before I forget. What was the most common thing you saw, problems or mistakes guys were making in T.A.S? What were like when they went to training?
Situational awareness is the key. Situational awareness is being aware of what you're doing, personal situational awareness of where I'm at in relation to where the bad guy is, whether it's a certain distance or a certain position to cover, situational awareness when it comes to what the bad guys are doing, pre-incident indicators. Because, I mean, as a bad guy, an instructor playing the role of a bad guy, we try to replicate those pre-incident indicators. It's about to go bad.
Yeah.
So we want them to see these things devolve. It's like it's going to crap, and because of the way things are going and the physical indicators and stuff. But a lot of people that are training don't realize it.
They don't recognize it.
Don't recognize it. Don't acknowledge it. And then not only when it comes to indicators that things are going into a fight, but more importantly, indicators where we're going for a gun, or trying to hide things. That one is missed. But after that, when it does turn to crap, the simple stuff of the skill sets of not being familiar with your equipment, not being able to, we know you can reload your gun at the range, but all of a sudden you're under duress and you're acting like this is the first time you've ever reloaded your gun.
Yep.
So it's practicing those skill sets, those day-to-day mundane skill sets under duress.
Yeah.
That's what makes it difficult. And that's where a lot of the mistakes are made, in my opinion. Through years, I've seen thousands of scenarios. So we've developed scenarios. We've done anecdotal studies on things that a cop would make. And when deputy sheriffs make mistakes, it's the same thing that our brothers in blue. It's just a human thing.
Okay.
So it's not just deputies get better training, so they make it. No, it's a human thing. Again, it's human performance, being under duress and having the lack of awareness when it comes to being able to do certain things. That's the biggest thing. Not knowing where your partner is.
Oh yeah.
If it's a partner situation, lack of communication. Again, situational awareness. If I'm telling you, it's like, we get in the shooting and we do the post-fight stuff. Like, hey, Adam, you good? You good? And if I don't hear from you, I better start. Looking for you.
Find you. Yeah.
Just things like that.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff that's replicated every single day. It's not necessarily the big tactics, the big tactical things. I should have moved. I should have aggressed. I should have, ran back. Or it's just the small stuff that makes the big difference of whether or not you can survive that type of a threat. You've probably seen videos where cops get in a shootout and they're having a difficult time reloading. Things like that.
Yeah.
Or when we take their dominant hand out of play. Say, hey, you're shot. And, when we're talking about T.A.S, hey, apply a tourniquet, but continue to fight with your support hand. And they're like,
no idea.
They have no clue.
We shot for days with our left hand or right hand. Dominant shot.
See, I'm pretty ambidextrous. I'm right-handed, but I'm a lefty shooter. My dad brought me up shooting everything left-handed because I'm a left-eye dominant.
Okay.
So I can manipulate everything.
That's good.
Both hands. So it was never an issue. Going back, I think we addressed briefly the Idaho Falls in and out shooting. The off-duty cop, from the things that I've read and heard, that got shot initially when he ran up, made a couple of tactical fumbles, in my opinion, but he had his gun holstered. He got shot. He got shot in his dominant hand, his gun hand. And when he ran back, watching the video, I could tell that most likely he wanted to reaggress, but he had an arterial bleed from what I heard. Anyways, he was able to draw with his support hand, but he doesn't carry one in the chamber from what I've read. So he could not chamber around. One of the things that I used to love teaching, because it was easy for me being ambidextrous, is teaching support hand shooting and support hand manipulation of weapon systems. Pretending that your gun hand is shot and now you got to draw, you got to chamber, you got to clear malfunctions with only one hand.
We did it.
It's easy.
Yeah, we did it.
It's really, really easy. So I'm thinking, how come this cop either never trained or was so much under duress with being shot and everything that he just nutted up? And those are my words. I don't know truly if
you never know.
If that's just my cursory analysis. When he could have just chambered around.
We used
and re-engaged
our holster for all that.
Yeah,
we used our holster to do backwards.
We teach holsters. We teach objects. You teach your shoe, your belt, your pocket, whatever it is.
We had to do it to go through the course. You had to use your non-dominant hand. You had to clear malfunctions. You had to rack around. You had to reload. All these different things, and you did it over and over and over and over till you got tired of it.
Yeah, and I guarantee, God forbid, you came to a situation where your dominant hand, your gun hand, was injured. You'd probably your mind would go, it's like, hey, we've done this before. You know, Adam, you can do this.
Muscle memory.
And then you do everything with your support hand.
You wouldn't even know you did it.
You wouldn't know it. And you'd get back into the fight, you know, as needed.
Yeah.
Or you're able to fight and pull back to safety, whatever it is that you need to do.
That's exactly what we started with, is having it not be the first time.
Yes.
Trying to knock out all these things that could happen so it's not your first time.
And that's the big thing that we had at T.A.S. is that we can't train all the scenarios, but if we train all the high risk, as many of the high risk incidents as we can, but more importantly, the skill sets, we want to develop them to where out in the field, it won't be their first time to have to replicate. Mm-hmm. Let's do it here in training, because we don't want that deputy out in the field going, this is the first time I've done this in real life.
How do I do this?
Yeah, how do I clear malfunction? How do I use my support hand? How do I, I'm one hand shooting because my hand's tied up or it's injured or whatever it is, or shooting from different positions, because I've never shot from, a prone or from a kneeling or from urban prone or whatever.
Well, I remember when I got out of the academy, I saw an SCB guy. I was off, and he had his mags sideways. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what's that about? And I asked him, and he said, this is why. And he explained it to me. And my whole career, I carried him sideways, to the side.
Right.
And everybody's like, why? I said, he told me why, and if he's doing it, there must be a good reason. I practiced with it. And then one time, we were in some stuff, and I was trying to change. This is way faster, because you never know when you're going to be leaning forward over the top of those mags.
True.
And it worked. It was just training. I said, oh, shit, now I understand it more. Little things like that. If you practice with it, like I said, muscle memory, it works for you. Certain people will try to carry certain guns, and I remember when I went to the 45, and everybody's getting the 45, and I said, I love the stopping power of the 45, but I want more rounds.
Absolutely.
And they said, why? I said, multiple suspects.
Yes.
And they said, well, 9mm doesn't stop them. I go, well, I'm not stopping anybody if I have to reload in a gunfight or a firefight. I said, I'm thinking, I'm working gang unit. They're usually 4 in a car at a time. What if they all have a gun?
Worst case scenarios.
I got 8 rounds. Yeah. I better hit them all.
Right.
Which it never happens because it's stress again. So I said, I want my rounds. I want more. I don't want to give up rounds. It's just me.
And that's the way I was. But if you take a look at ballistic capabilities of the 45 and the 9, take a look at new bullets, especially the hollow points that law enforcement uses. Our 9s do very, very well,
they do,
comparatively speaking. But I'm the same way as you. When they approved the 45s, all of us always, we train and we get the Gucci 45s and we carry it. I carried my 45 as an admin gun because I did not want to go with a 7-rounder or even a 10-rounder out in the field. I reverted back to my duty gun that had typically a 20-round magazine. Yeah. And people would ask, well, how can we transition? I said, well, I'd rather have my 20-round magazine. And during that time, I had 81 rounds on my body. And a person asked, well, how come 45, 45 stopping power? So, I said, on a good day, it takes 1 round to end the fight. But on a bad day, I got 81 rounds. Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure that I'm still capable on my worst day.
Yes.
Yes. Because 7-round magazine may not do it.
No, we trained a lot. And that was my thing. Is I'm thinking, I do not want to reload when rounds are going down range.
No.
Because people think it's 2 or 3 rounds and it's over. Yeah. You see a lot of them, people are running around, chasing each other around a car. You're firing 6, 7 rounds just to try to find them sometimes. And now you have to reload.
Yeah.
No, that's just the worst time. It's like, I don't want to have that stop, wait, pause. Okay, I got to reload now. And I might be fast. I might be good, but still, that's an advantage he's going to have that I don't have.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to take away advantages from my adversary. And one of them was, Sheriff's Department's going to give you lasers. Mm-hmm. And I said, everybody's getting lasers. And I said, nope. And then they go, oh, Sheriff's Department's putting flashlights. Nope. And everybody's going, why not? This is cool stuff. And I said, I'm stupid. I want to shoot this gun and it fire, and I want to know when I need it, I'm going to use it, and I don't have to think about anything else. I know what it does.
Yes.
I'm not going to use it as an illumination device while I'm clearing a house.
Right, and that's what most people are doing it, even though it's against policy.
Now I'm pointing this gun all over this place, right. And then I need the light, and I pull the trigger like someone has done.
Yes.
Or I don't want to pull the trigger and I laser. Is it too many things? And I'm always thinking, when the shit hits the fan, I don't know what I'm going to do.
And that's the thing. A lot of people think, okay, hey, I'm just going to start adding gadgets on. And it's like, yeah, when shit hits the fan, do you know which button to press when you need it? And more importantly, are you training with it? Because if you're not, you're going to push the wrong button or pull the wrong lever or pull the trigger accidentally because, you thought it was something else.
We have people that have been shot that drop their mags.
Yeah.
Instead of pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Drop a magazine out of a gun because they were so frazzled.
Or they keep chambering around, and jacking out,
the good rounds,
the full magazine because they don't know how to clear a malfunction, or they think
the simple malfunction.
Yeah, just really, really simple stuff.
Walking around with a gun that's not chambered.
Yeah,
like we talked about the guy with the gun. Who walks around with a gun not chambered? I know military you can't.
Yeah, but you know what? It's interesting is when I train civilians, and civilians are very uncomfortable, and I always tell them it's all about training. You train to where you're comfortable doing it, because a lot of people say, you got a inside the waistband holster, appendix carry and stuff. Aren't you afraid? It's like, I'm careful, but I'm not afraid because I've been carrying like that for 30 years. But I'm very, very aware of the mistakes that can happen.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm.
You know your weapon, you know your system.
Yeah, and if I shoot myself, I know what's getting hit. So I am very, very careful. So when my hand's on my gun, either coming out or going in, I make sure that I'm doing everything right. Mm-hmm. And it's all because of training. And you have to, like a T.A.S. We change guns all the time, and we do a bunch of stuff. And I tell my guys, I say, hey, when you're getting your gun out of your locker, think about that. That's a rep. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure you do it right. You take it out of there. Maybe do a chamber check, do a mag check, and then you're going to clear. Make sure it's safe to go in your holster and guide it in. Yeah. Because the last thing you want is for a T.A.S. guy.
Yeah.
To
AD.
To AD, because you're never going to live it down. And I thought I would not ever live that down if one of my guys, knew that I did. So I thought, like when my hand's about to get on my gun, I turn that switch on. It's like, be careful.
Yep. So in patrol, you had to put it in the locker. We had the Berettas. Yeah. So I'd always put on, it's always off safety. Put it on safety, put it in the locker. Take it out, put it here, unlock it. Then put it back off safety. That was my ritual at patrol because it had a safety. Yeah. Beretta's cool. It's like I knew if I was going to take it out of this holster and put it in there, I would put on safety before I put it out. So I had to turn it on, engage it to put it in the locker. And I knew I could engage it back and forth. But then they got I appendix carried. Right. And then I had, when I was on my other unit, you put the pancake. Mm-hmm. It goes with it. Oh, yeah. So I just take the whole holster off and put it in. So I can't even see the trigger with the holsters we carry. So there's no way. That's how I train. So now I like moves with the holster.
Yeah, but going back on, the Beretta. I hadn't carried the Beretta for a while, so because I was just a point and shoot guy. Whether it's the Smith, whether it's the Glock, just different things that I carried. Never a decocker or safety. Here I was one time doing a demo. My guys are watching me with the Beretta Sims, and I'm pulling the trigger. Nothing happened. Tap and rack. Nothing happened. Tap and rack. What did I do wrong? Safety. And my guys are laughing at me.
You didn't sweep the safety.
I didn't sweep this, and I'm sitting there going, Jesus Christ! And I knew what I did wrong, but it just had been such a long time since I carried a Beretta that I thought, okay, I'm not carrying a Beretta because that's I'm so used to the muscle memory that from the striker fired weapons that now I'm not carrying it. That's why I don't carry a 45 on duty because of the thumb safety as well, because I don't want to have that extra thing that you got to train for it.
Yeah.
You got to train every day for it. You can't train every now and again. You got to train every day to hit those manual safeties.
I remember when we were in the academy, they talked about the CHPs who put empty brass in their pockets.
Oh, yeah.
That stuck with me my whole
Absolutely.
career. Because of the range, they police their own brass.
Yep.
They're killed with empty brass in their pockets.
Yep.
Because they're so used to it with the 6-shot, dumping it, putting the brass so they didn't want to clean it up at the range. So they were doing this during a shootout. So all these extra things, I always thought of that. No, I don't want anything extra.
100%.
I want to shoot, and that's it. And I don't know what I'm going to do. No one knows what they're going to do.
No one knows what you're going to do.
So, but you can reduce the side shit, the mess ups, if you don't have any experience doing those mess ups. You only know how to do the right thing.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'll focus on this thing, shoot. And I wanted another gun when I retired, so I went to the M&P. Just because I wanted another, you get another strap on the way out. I hate the M&P. You've probably heard me talk about it. I hate the trigger. I just can't stand that stupid trigger because I was on a Beretta and I love my Beretta.
Yeah, you got used to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Just like you're talking about, you don't want to carry something you're not proficient at.
No.
But then I had to qualify with it. And I'm not making rounds because I'm not letting that trigger out all the way. It's just such a long drop.
Yeah, it's a long reset.
For no reason, for no gain.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest safety thing I've ever heard. And I asked the guys at the range, why? Mm-hmm. Why did we spec out this gun? And he says, well, because it's supposed to be when you drop it, it won't go off.
Yeah.
And I said, tell me how many guys have dropped a gun and went off?
None.
I said, so why do we have this trigger again? He goes, just if you drop it, it won't go off.
Yeah, it was a selling point.
I know, but
yeah, no, I 100%. I totally get it.
Am I wrong?
But see, and thank God the department allowed us multiple weapon choices.
Yeah,
because one gun does not work for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's grip size, whether it's caliber, whether it's just the size of the gun. But going back on my screw up with the Beretta, with the training Beretta, Sims Beretta. Imagine if I had just thought, I'm going to carry that Beretta out on duty today, and then just stuck it in my holster. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm going to carry you. Because I love the Beretta. That's what I got on when I got out to patrol. Mm-hmm. And then if something happened, I'd have been doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'd have been pulling the trigger, jacking out rounds, thinking I had a malfunction, had to tap and rack, until it dawned on me that
your whole magazine just flew out.
Yeah, it's like, it's the safety. It's simple as that. Then, by then I would probably have been taking rounds if it was the worst case scenario.
You don't want to find out then.
Yeah, that's why I thought that was a big thing for me. I thought, okay, well, you know what? The Brett, you're not carrying the Brett anymore, Mike, because you could get yourself killed because you haven't trained enough.
Yep, you're not proficient anymore at it.
Even though I had used the Beretta for well over 20 years.
Yep.
Well over 20 years, I started carrying other weapon systems that I trained, thousands of hours using, and the Beretta was
kind of erased it, huh?
Yeah,
that's weird how that happens.
But it scared me enough, because I'm proficient at all weapon systems.
Yeah,
but with that one, I thought, wow, I could have gotten killed on.
It's important, like when you change holsters, you have to practice with that holster. Safari Land came out with the different holsters, and we were using all these. And Get and OSS, you had the low rides, and it looks cool as hell. Yeah. You got a cool low ride. You look like a gunslinger with it on your leg, and all this cool. So you practice. I remember wearing around the house practicing, and then I got into a chase, a foot pursuit, and I took it off, and I threw it on the shelf, and
harder to run than that low ride holster.
Never put it back on.
Yeah,
I went back to my hip holster, and everybody had the cool holster. And dude, what's up? I said, wait till you're running that shit. I had to jump 2 chain link fences with that thing. I got caught up on both of them.
100%.
And I said, it's a liability. Yeah. And I'm not going to risk my life and my family's economic future getting killed over a stupid holster.
No.
It looks cool as hell, but it's not practical, you guys. It's not going to stay in place. When you start running full speed after a person with a gun, it's going to start moving everywhere. Now you're trying to hold on to it.
Yep.
And even if you take we ran with our guns in our hand, it's still going everywhere.
So drawing the gun whilst in a seated position in a car, it's in a whole different position now.
Yep.
Compared to when you're standing and compared to your regular duty gun on your duty
You're
belt.
going to be doing this.
You're going to be fishing for it.
It's going to be.
And the draw is coming back this way versus up.
Yep.
So, and most guys don't even train that way.
Nope.
So the first time, they get ambushed in the car, now they're going to have to figure out how do I get this gun out? Because it's not coming out.
You shouldn't be thinking about it.
No, I learned early on that low ride holster was not for me.
No, me too.
If you see any pictures of me doing SRT work, the sheriff's response team, and everyone was given a duty holster, which was a low ride. I didn't wear it. Mm-hmm. I had my belt rig for the same reasons that you just said.
It was obvious, man. Yeah. This thing is gonna get me hurt.
Yep.
And it doesn't look as cool as the rest of the guys. I don't look as cool as them, but I know where my gun is going to be.
And most guys carry it improperly. It's too low towards the knee. And the lower it is, the more unstable it is. Yeah. It's flopping around.
I said, you guys don't plan on ever chasing anybody? Or you haven't done it yet? Or you're too worried about that gun? I said, because you're going to worry about it. And
you are.
And in a fight, it's everywhere. I've seen guys in fights with them, and they're trying to move it while they're fighting. Because now it's on the front of their leg.
Yes.
Now it's accessible to the person you're fighting.
Absolutely.
It's just a nightmare.
And then again, if you need it like right now, how quickly can you, in training, buzzer goes off, you're in that weird position, and you're supposed to go for your gun and engage your target. How long is it going to take you to draw?
It's, again, having to think.
Having to think.
I had a guy walk up on my car, and my son was with me. He was young. And he was on my driver's side, and he was just walking by. But I saw him. He walked behind my car, and then he went to the ground, like he hid behind my trunk. And then I was watching him in my mirror, and he came up on my driver's door with a soccer ball. He had got under my car to throw the ball, soccer ball.
Right.
But all I saw in this mirror was a guy walk behind my car, go down behind my trunk. I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm looking at him. He comes up here, and my son goes, Dad, and I look up, I go, what? And I had my gun pointing at him, and I didn't even never remember getting it up.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing, but I never thought about how to get out.
Because you're thinking ambush, you know?
But it was muscle memory.
Yeah, I still do that today. I mean, I still dry fire. I still draw from shorts or jeans or whatever.
Smart.
Because I don't want to be caught. And more importantly, I think, especially with my guys, I had a certain reputation, and I don't want them to think, what the hell happened? He was switched on, he was good to go, and then now all of a sudden,
now he's horrible.
Yeah, he's horrible. He didn't do what he was supposed to. I'll get caught on some surveillance camera, fumbling stuff and not doing the right thing, and But I mean, that's at least my standard is, hey, can keep this up while I can.
Then I got to ask you then. What's up with retirees not carrying?
I don't know. That pains me because
me too.
We have a responsibility, not to only ourselves but our families at the very least, to stay alive for them or to keep them alive in those worst case scenarios.
Yep.
And I truly believe that the Lord places us in those capable of intervening, may place us in a position where we can do good things for everyone else.
Yeah.
And if I'm not capable because I don't have my tools about me, then what am I going to do? I got to go hands on, which I can, I guess, but I want to stack the odds to my favor.
The advantage.
So I don't understand why a lot of guys say, I don't have to carry a gun, so I'm not going to carry a gun. And I carry a gun 24/7.
Drives me bananas when I hear guys say it.
Yeah.
What?
You never know where this could happen. It could be a crook. It could be an active shooter incident. All the stuff that I used to preach on the job, I 100% believe in. So, I live my life the same way. I'm not hyper vigilant. I'm not like always looking. I'm situation aware, but like a calm focus. Mm-hmm. But I truly believe that, because of the calm focus that I'm armed, I'm less stressed because I know when I'm out and I forget my gun or I don't have it because I'm in a area where I can't have it.
Yeah.
then my cortisol level goes up a little bit.
You feel naked.
Know? I do.
Yep, I'm same way.
You know, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I gotta use Dispen and stab someone in the eye with it.
You're thinking about what could I find for a weapon to carry around on vacation?
Yes,
because you're sheep at that point. You know,
I tell people, you know, carry. I mean, I carry reloads with me, believe it or not. I mean, probably within just looking at open source stuff. You know, my world was studying bad guys for years, for over half of my career, studying, you know, worst case scenarios, high risk incidents, active shooter incidents. So, you know, now seeing the writing on the wall, I carry a reload with me all the time.
Good.
You know, most of the time when I wasn't carrying it, it was always in a vehicle.
Yeah.
But there's times I just pop it in my belt, you know.
I got to ask you another question that's going to probably get everybody all freaked out. But I have a problem with the tactics when they bring in less than lethal on a call of a man with a gun or a man with a knife or a bat. Because last time I checked, a bat is a deadly weapon.
Absolutely.
A knife is a deadly weapon. A gun is a deadly weapon.
100%.
Why are they designating a less than lethal guy?
It was never meant to be that way. It was bring the tools for liability to make it look like we're checking off all the boxes because we're trying to de-escalate if the potential is there. But the thing is, it wasn't meant to be where we try everything in our arsenal before it goes. If it goes to deadly force, it goes to deadly force. The training was never, hey, try this, try that, unless it was, you know, stationary type situation where the guy isn't moving towards us with a knife or with a baseball bat.
Got no shirt on, no weapon. That's different thing.
Yeah, totally different. Contained, you know, totally different.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that said, the less lethal, in my opinion, has got to the point where law enforcement is relying on that. And in my opinion, it's still been used improperly. Less lethal should be used as a tool followed up by tactics such as, you know, arrest and control, immediate arrest and control, or followed up with aggressive, more less lethal, such as I used to train this guy with a knife. Say, okay, you know, we don't have to kill him. He's further away. He's only threatening himself, but we got to close the distance at some point. Talk to him, box check. Less lethal, box check. We got kinetic, less lethal, you know, a 40, close quarter, less lethal, taser, check. Sprays, check. We got all that stuff. Okay, we're good to go. Now, the way I would train it is I'll have a less lethal team, you know, firing kinetic energy, less lethal weapons. So we'll go ahead and close, you know, pop them, distract them, close the distance, maybe with a shield and a taser team to where the taser can be at effective range, and then rush them and still make contact and, you know, and still be prepared to use lethal all the time. But now what we see with law enforcement is you just try less lethal, shoot, hit them again with less lethal, hit them again with the taser, hit them again with the taser. And we're not following up with that aggression because it's bad optics. I always trained that less lethal is a tool that you use that needs to be immediately followed up with aggressive tactics. You know, because if you don't, then it's going to get up to the point where you have to shoot them.
Yep. But the thing with you're exactly right. What I'm seeing, and it frustrates the hell out of me, is the call is a gun or a knife, and it's close. You're close. Yeah. It's really close.
I've seen those recent videos where it's close.
It's
and I'm
too
thinking,
close.
Jesus Christ. No, it's they're afraid of liabilities.
Yes.
But you also have to know your stuff. Policy doesn't necessarily dictate that you have to do all these things prior to. State law, federal law doesn't dictate that you have to do all these things prior to. If the situation dictates, it becomes a requisite for lethal force, and you can justify lethal force, you use lethal force. You don't have to ask the guy to dance and then take them out to dance and take them out to dinner and all that.
Afterwards.
You don't have to do any of that stuff. But yeah, people, in my opinion, all the stuff's getting watered down.
Yeah.
They're not understanding the guidelines, the laws, the policy. The executives are being gun shy.
Yeah, and it's the sergeants too. The sergeants too.
Yeah.
The field sergeants, to me, it's so weak when you got a guy with his hands in his pockets. It won't show you his hands, and you go, okay, you get the less than lethal. No, dude.
Yeah.
I got no hands, and that shit stays in the trunk, or you can strap it. I want a gun.
Yep.
You saw one I saw a video the other day. You probably saw it too, where a whole team of deputies was rolling up on somebody, and he started shooting. Mm-hmm. They just bugged out like.
Oh yeah.
But two of them had tasers.
Yeah, they looked good and they're stacked behind that shield, and then it turns to crap. And then
they ran for the hills.
It's like so much for training, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you had less than lethal. Was a vehicle? He was in a vehicle, or was he?
Gosh,
it was anyway. He had no control.
Yeah,
no control of this person.
Absolutely none.
I talked last week. I was talking about I don't want 4 guns and a sting ball. I want 5 guns.
Yeah.
On a man that won't show me his hands. Until he shows me his hands, there's no discussion, Sergeant, about less than lethal.
No.
I want more, because when he starts shooting, everybody's going to try to book it out and get out of the way. How many rounds do you want? I'd rather have that guy that had a beanbag have a gun, and he might be the guy who puts him down.
Yeah.
You're taking away your chance for survival. T.A.S is all about survival. How do we survive? Numbers.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Always numbers.
And if you have the numbers, if you have the designated shooters, and you could build in a less lethal plan, then build it in.
If you can.
But if you don't, like if there's only 2 of us, and it's like, let's go ahead and
I
try
can
to take
put
care
this
of
away and
business
get out my taser.
a different way. But yeah, that early aggressive use of less lethal can keep things from escalating. But it's got to be aggressive. It's got to be early. Like one of the things when I went to force training, learned a lot. Learned a lot of what I did out in the field was not necessarily the best, but out of luck. And one of the things I learned about being aggressive was I thought I was aggressive, but there were times when I wasn't aggressive enough, because when I could have put my hands on this individual, knocked them silly or take them down to the ground, instead of letting it escalate to where now we're running, now we're fighting, now we're doing all the stuff. And I think, man, I should have just taken them down back there.
You're talking about early aggression.
Just early aggressive use of force, And I didn't want to be aggressive early, and now it's turned to shit, and now I'm doing a lot more than what I could have done.
There you go.
And that was big for me back then. So that's still my mindset now. It's like, you got to be aggressive early. You got to be aggressive early.
You talked about command presence. Command presence, that's part of it, is having control of the situation. And if they're not coming down, you have to bring it up.
Right.
And you have to bring it up fast so they know you're serious. It's like you learned in the jail again. The guys think you're weak. They're going to run on you.
Oh, yeah.
They think you're a strong cop, you're a strong deputy in the jail, no weapons, so it's one-on-one. You better have some command presence. If you act weak, he's going to beat your ass.
100%. And you know what? It's a lot of, I guess my skewed mindset is a little bit different when it comes to how I think of de-escalation. Because having good command presence, in my opinion, is the start of de-escalation.
Yeah.
Because when you show up to an idiot that is causing a ruckus, challenging everyone, and then he looks at you, it's like, okay, I'm not going to challenge you because you're going to kick my ass. You just successfully de-escalated. Or you were aggressive by putting your hands on immediately. Instead of talking to the guy for 40 minutes, you just put your hands on, took him down to the ground, and hooked him up. That is keeping the situation from escalating to a greater use of force, if not lethal force, by using the minimum use of, that was required. Yeah. Because you were aggressive. And so I have an aggressive mindset.
Yeah.
And I still try to teach people, be aggressive, so that way you can end the situation sooner than having to shoot the guy multiple times because you allowed it to get going.
You allowed them to build steam.
Absolutely.
By being weak at the beginning. You can't do that.
Yeah, and they think that they have the advantage or they have an opportunity because they will look for those opportunities. And if you give them the opportunity, they will go for it. But when you had the opportunity, the window of opportunity that probably showed itself as being open, but you didn't take that opportunity to go hands-on, shame on you. Because I've seen plenty of videos where it's like, they should have put their hands on. They should have taken them down here.
Why are you talking so much?
It's like, man,
guys, you guys got to do something here.
And that's
hard to watch, huh?
They think it's de-escalation, but that's not de-escalation.
It's going to get worse. It's making it worse.
Yeah, that's not how I teach de-escalation. And I work. It's getting worse because I work for attorneys that defend deputies, and a lot of deputies are getting dinged for not properly doing things. What, in my opinion, they did great. They've attempted de-escalation, although the department standard may have been talk to them for the next 10 hours. Okay, a deputy didn't do that, but he tried. But he became aggressive and he used force. Per training, per state law, per federal law, deputy did good. Now the department's dinging them because of the unreasonable expectations of the department, and probably the unreasonable expectation of that the leadership that's looking at this report, thinking that they should have done something else, and that drives me nuts, and that's why I'm trying to do what I do.
You see what I have in here? I have a lot of guys that have been going through this stuff that we did. It's not illegal. It's not wrong. No. But they're dinging them for it. They're putting them in jail for it.
Yes,
and it's bullshit.
It is bullshit. And when I was at T.A.S, I was the subject matter expert at Executive Force Review Committee, EFRC, and Critical Incident Review for many years until they stopped wanting to hear my opinion.
Hear the truth?
Yeah. They'd get mad, and I tell them, they shouldn't. I was told, don't render your opinions. Well, they should stop asking me for my opinions. If that's the case, I will tell them the truth. I won't go on the department side if the department is wrong, nor will I go to the deputy side if the deputy's wrong. I'll say, hey, you know what, deputy screwed up. It happens. But if the deputy did everything that we've trained them to do, and the situation is still, volatile and jacked up, then let's see what not only did the deputy may have done better, but let's see what the department may have done better in training, that expectation. Because my whole adage is the department expects us to perform at Super Bowl level standards, but they don't train us up to Pop Warner standards. But come game day, we better be playing at Super Bowl level.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I've never done this in my life, and now the expectation is you got to take care of business, and it could be the worst case scenario you've ever run to. Are you going to do it Super Bowl level standard? No, you're not. You're going to make some mistakes, but deputies are getting dinged for superfluous stuff that is truly a training issue, and not malicious in the deputy's intent. It was, a training issue. And you've had gentlemen on your podcast that I backed up. He did nothing wrong when it comes to his use of force, takedown and spraying. That was all per policy, for God's sakes. And now you ruined his life and ruined the department's reputation and ruined a bunch of deputies' perceptions on whether the department's going to back them up or not.
Lost it.
Absolutely lost it, and that makes me angry.
It should make everybody who knows the job angry.
Yeah.
It pisses me off when these guys tell me their stories. I'm like, that's not true. That can't be true. Yeah, that I did all these things.
I've spoken to commanders and chiefs, and I've told them, I said the deputy didn't do anything wrong, and they're like, yeah, but we're gonna make a statement, and we're gonna give him these days off. He'll get it back through civil service. That's their attitude. He'll get it back through civil service. And I think, yeah, but we're screwing up lives, for God's sakes.
Fire him, let him fight for his job back. I've heard that one.
That's,
Mike, I'm glad you're here. I really, really wanted to ask you some questions. First of all, you're absolutely right about what's happening. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right that these guys did nothing wrong. Now, I can have these podcasts and have these guys out here talking to me, and I'm trying to advocate for them to get their word out so that people know the truth. What's happening, what's happened. 2010, they did it to a bunch of guys. Same guys. Yeah. Same thing. They did the same playbook. But they're being ignored because it happened back then during the time when the administration was different and they were just getting rid of all these guys.
Right.
But same thing happened to like 25, 30 guys. Same thing. Worse because they actually went to the prison. Well, I'm nobody. I'm retired. I'm not a deputy anymore. I have no pull. I have no juice. My experience tells me, and from what I've heard from the guys, sometimes I see an opening. Like I'm thinking, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Because you can help me with this, or even refine it. If they're laying these guys out for doing stuff they were trained to do, they did it the way the department showed them how to do it. Maybe it was a little tweaking. Maybe they messed up some stuff, but their heart was in the right place. They were trying to do the right thing.
Right.
There was no malice.
Absolutely.
Okay, so maybe retraining, like you said. But what I'm hearing is they did exactly what they were trained to do.
Yes.
And some people didn't go to court for them and say, this is what we taught them. So what I'm always that person is, how can I fix it? I don't care about the complaining. How can we fix it? I can't fix who's there because he's going to keep doing stupid stuff. But how can I help the guys who are my brothers and sisters to beat them? Because I want them to beat them.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And we got to outsmart them.
And that's where I'm at.
So we're in the same place. So my thinking is, when the guys get in trouble, and they've been putting these guys out to pasture and just screwing them, it seems like it's because they can't state their case. They can't state their case or can't prove they're being taught this. So they're saying, I was taught it. The sheriff's department saying we didn't teach him that or whatever. We're not going to back him, and he goes away and he gets in trouble. I'm starting to lean hard on it is maybe if the guys were to go get their training packets and get their LDs from the academy, and when I was doing 186.22 expert testimonies, I'd bring up dates and times. So instead of saying I was trained to do that, go, here's my 49 on my force. I pepper sprayed and took this guy down. In 2024, Deputy so-and-so taught me this at the academy. In 2025, I trained with the pepper spray and have all my training and dates and name the people who trained me. So now it's memorialized where when they take me to court and say he did something wrong, they're going to say, all these people have to be my witnesses now.
Yes.
And they're named, employee numbers, dates, times, the LD, the policy, everything in my report. And that goes not with the SUP, that goes with the 49. And I'm not going to stop until they sign it. Because here's my force, here's the incident that happened, here's my training experience. Just like Vordire, when the judge says you can be, Vordire is an act of God. The judge anoints you and says, now you can talk. The same thing is the same standard. I'm putting the same standard for a judge into a 49. Now, if I'm the feds or I'm the people up there right now doing the thing you just said, we're going to just give them some days off. How do you do that knowing you got to bring all these people in? How do you push these deputies around and slap them around because you're picking on them?
Right.
You're doing something that's like a bully picking on people that you don't think can fight back. You can fight back with your knowledge and you're cutting that off. Like, I can't just say, I'm going to go after Deputy Harding because I think he did something wrong. Mm-hmm. He says he did it because of all these people.
Yes.
Now I got to prove they're all wrong, or he wasn't trained right, or he did it wrong.
100%.
I think it would save a lot of people from being put through this. My experience tells me they're not going to pick up that fight.
And I think you got something there. It's because that fight is not there. They're not being challenged in that manner. All those things we tell deputies, you obviously have to know your stuff prior to using the force, but then articulate all this stuff when it's time to articulate it. Because, been there, done that, where you just want to get the report done. You just want to do something short and sweet. just the facts and send it off to be signed. But then again, there are SUPs where you can do a lot more detailed. You can do a lot more of these things. A good attorney will drag all those things out. And that's wherein you got to pick the right attorney.
Yeah.
Because I used to always say that I've been 6 years of force training, 17 years at T.A.S. That's a lot of years training in the development of training, the development of curriculum, both on the use of force side to the weapons, deadly force, less lethal, tactics, and all kinds of other stuff that we trained at T.A.S. I have the keys to that closet, and that closet has some skeletons in it when it comes to what the department was willing to do was not willing to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we did not train the deputy sheriffs to make them more effective, to lower the liability for themselves as well as the department. And that's shame on the department.
Yep.
Because there's and I think the deputies need to start. They're defending themselves, but they need to start pointing the fingers hard. They really do. I was years ago, 1 year, deputies inadvertently killed 2 civilians. Okay. I would have probably done the same thing had I been in those same deputies' positions. So I'll preface it with that. Deputies didn't do anything wrong. It's just misperception, misidentification. Those deputies did the right thing, although, unfortunately, it was wrong. And again, I have to say that I probably would have done the same thing, being placed in a position. So here I am as part of the lawsuit, as a subject matter expert, being deposed, plaintiff's attorney, family suing the sheriff department. They're asking about all these things, about training, what you did and what you didn't do and all that stuff. And I'm doing the typical, department advocate stuff. We trained this. Oh, yeah, we had, super training here. We've had 8 hours training. We have deputy sheriffs are trained really, really well. And they are. And I still will stick to my statements. However, a good plaintiff's attorney, if they had drilled down through all the different layers, could probably drill me to a really good statement that will win them the case. But they didn't. We broke for lunch. I told county attorneys, say, hey, you guys got to settle this case. Like, why? Because those attorneys don't seem like they know what they're doing, but if they find the right hole and start digging through this hole, and if they ask me the right question as to how much time of training and all that stuff specific to positive identification of threats, the answer is going to be very, very little. They go through a scenario where maybe a partner team will do a scenario that may last 1 minute, but the presentation of that threat might be for 10 seconds. So theoretically, the training on positively identifying a lethal threat is 10 seconds worth out of that scenario for once in their whole law enforcement career. Is that enough? No, it's not enough. It's definitely not enough to prime them for those situations, to expose them to those type of what ifs. Yeah. And we've never trained those deputy sheriffs. Now we threw those deputy sheriffs out there to do God's work, to save other people, and they were placed in situations where they are attempting to save lives, and bad things occur, and they end up taking the wrong life. Had we properly trained them through our scenario-based training in similar situations, they would have probably maybe have done something totally different or stalled long enough to positively ID. But we didn't do that as a department. So I told the attorney, so we got what we got because of our inability to have that training.
Yeah.
So they settled for like $7 million.
2 people?
For one.
For one.
Yeah. But if, they were suing for a lot more.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, if this goes to the lawsuit and they have me on the stand and they drill down
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the truth. And we're screwed.
Yeah.
You know, so
we always see the holes in our own cases.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So, and, the point is, I've been in the training realm long enough to know that all the things that we could have done better.
Yeah, and that's why we do the targets now with the different shoot, don't shoot.
Yeah, shoot, don't shoot. Scenario training, low light training, all kinds of different stuff.
The trailer with the wrong people come out and all that stuff.
Right. There's so much, and so we started doing more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And just on a side note, in active shooter training, scenario-based training, I started placing a off-duty cop in there with a gun. Off-duty cop wasn't challenging the contact teams. The off-duty cop was protecting himself against the active shooter, trying to take down the active shooter. So contact teams would see him. What do you think happened to that guy?
It dusted him.
95% of the time.
Yep. I've talked about this thing. I'm about to go off a tangent again.
Yeah.
The open carry and all the guys, I don't like it. Yeah. I think it's great for the people that can protect themselves, but for a cop, it's already hard enough to know who the players are. And you got guys, and it's volatile. I just can see problems. And a good Samaritan with a gun in his hand looks like a bad guy every day. No, and it's hard to differentiate.
Absolutely.
And we feel for the guys out there.
And when I remember seeing that, it all started when we started training narco, active shooter training. And they wouldn't put on their stuff, and they'd run around. Half the guys I know,
they look like dirtbags.
God, yes. And then they do their stuff, and I tell them, you know what? I said, just dawned on me. I said, if this was real life, and I saw you coming out the way you guys look, I'd shoot you.
Yep.
With the gun in your hand, I would shoot you.
Yep.
So I started doing anecdotal studies by implementing these scenarios over and over and over again, and watching what the good guys do, and debriefing them with the perception.
Yeah, that's smart.
And 95% of the time, you and I have that likelihood of being misidentified by the good guy being shot, simply because we have a gun in hand in that type of chaotic situation. Yeah. So I started instituting what I call challenging procedures, where law enforcement won't be quick to shoot, but instead, challenge. Drop the gun, because if it's a bad guy, they're either going to continue to shoot, they're going to turn and engage. In that case, take care of business. They'll run, in that case, take care of business, or they'll give up, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll shoot themselves.
Yeah.
40% of the time, active shooters end up killing themselves.
Yeah.
So, but in the meantime, you're behind cover, you got position advantage, your 100 buddies are pointing the muzzle. But if it's a good guy,
it's going to give it
that pause to say, hey, don't shoot, friendly.
Yeah, the pause is what you're talking about. That's good.
Yes. And it dropped it down to 50%.
Good.
But think about that, though.
Still a lot.
50% of chance that you and I can still be misidentified.
That's why we talked about doing stuff now, carrying a gun and stuff like that. When I got into my thing, it was off duty. I knew they were coming. I took off my shirt, put the gun away. They came over, and I was like this. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not getting shot by accident.
Yeah. Don't. God forbid you take care of business, whether you're off duty, plain clothes, or just a civilian. Take care of business. Don't hang out there holding one at the gunpoint.
No.
Because the longer you're holding one at gunpoint, you're going to be misidentified.
Absolutely.
So we instituted different tactics that we teach those that are off duty or in plain clothes or civilians. Here's a note. Maybe about 15 years ago, I don't recall the exact date, maybe around 2011, 2012, in a town outside of Denver, Colorado, there was a incident where the bad guy, active shooter type incident, ended up killing a cop. Okay, and a youngster, 21-year-old, who was carrying concealed legally, ended up drawing his weapon, killing the bad guy. He runs up and he took the bad guy's AR-15 away, and was holding it when other law enforcement teams came out, misidentified the 21-year-old and killed him. And he was the good guy trying to help the cop that was just shot.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, it's
you got to do some training on that.
Yeah, there's not only to the good guys that are in plain clothes. Yeah. Train them to where the mindset should be, hey, you could get shot, these are the type of behaviors that can get you shot.
See what they're seeing when they roll up.
Absolutely, but training the cops as well to be able to, to challenge, to pause, to identify, to do certain things. To I'm not saying take all the time in the world while the bad guy's shooting people.
Take a second or two to see. Yeah.
I mean, if the bad guy's shooting people, take him out.
Yeah.
There's no need to tell him drop the gun.
And you got to be in control.
Yeah.
Even when I've talked about it, even if you're using force, you have to use it in control. You have to stay in control.
100%.
And firing your gun is control too. If they're not pointing at you, you can pause.
Yeah. And the control is the process of assessing.
Our narco guys, I think you just shoot. They just look like gangsters, tattoos on their necks, and
a good friend of mine, Leo Noyola.
Just talked about him the other day.
He was in that class, and he was one of the guys. I said, I would shoot you, Leo,
in a minute.
I said, and then that's when I told the guy, I said, you guys got to go with insignia. I don't care if you take 10 seconds, throw the jersey on, throw a vest on, throw a jacket on. You got to throw something on, or else you're going to be misidentified.
They started wearing those football jerseys. Yep, and just throw them over. Yeah, I saw those. That's smart.
I said, because you guys got to do something else.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing that, we're training a specialized plainclothes team to handle a situation such as an active shooter. And the way we played it is they're at a Ralph's parking lot, doing a brief up. And then all of a sudden, boom, something happens at the store, and they got to do something about it. And their sergeant at the time, I don't recall who it was, he goes, hey, I want you to throw this in there because I want to see how they do. And they did great. They took care of business. But then I had lessons learned as an observer. I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, they did great. However, if I was here as a uniformed first responder,
you might pop off a couple rounds.
Absolutely.
It's so hard in the field to designate people. It's very hard. It's very hard. Who's the aggressor? Who's the victim? It's super hard. And cops do it every single day. I give them props, man.
Yeah.
All around the world, they do it. But now with the leniency now in open carry, and a lot of states are just carry it.
Yeah, and I'm supporter of the Second Amendment.
Me too.
But training people on the what ifs.
Put it away before we get there, man. That's all I got to say.
Here's when I train civilians, this is what I tell them. I said, prior to knowing what I know now, based on stuff that I've done, I said, I had gone through the what if scenarios, just like young cops. All young cops are taught. So this is my what if scenario at a mall with my family. I hear the gunshots in the mall, right? So my what if scenario is taking care of my family, telling them to go to cover or go to safety and stuff. And then gun comes out. Then my cape comes out. So that way everyone sees my cape, right? And I'm running through the concourse of the mall, cape blowing in the wind, running towards the gunshots. I see the bad guy. I intervene, successfully put the bad guy down, and then everyone raises me on their shoulders to trumpets and music, and they take me outside, right? That was my what-if scenario. So now, knowing that, I know that the reality is, as I'm running through the mall, I'm probably going to get shot by another off-duty cop, a responsible civilian with a CCW, or a uniformed first responder. So now my what-if scenario is get my family out of Dodge. If I'm going to run towards the sound of gunfire, I'm going to maneuver towards the sound of gunfire, no gun in hand. When I get close or when I see the threat, that I'm going to go ahead and draw, engage after successfully engaging, holster, non-threat, and hands up, and I'm going to go to cover myself because I don't want to be, flanked by another good guy. Yeah. I'm telling everyone, hands up, good guy, off-duty cop, retired cop, whatever it is. And then when the good guy shows up, I don't care who it is, they tell me to get on the ground, I'm getting on the ground. If they tell me to stand on my head, I'm going to attempt to stand on my head. I'm going to be the compliant person. I'm not going to be challenging. I just don't want to be shot.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in my what if before, knowing that I can get killed, and my what if now, knowing that, hey, I can still be effective, but how not to get killed.
Yeah. No, you nailed it, man. I love the fact that people can carry.
Yeah.
But I worry about the guys in the field.
100%.
Because of trying to designate who's who.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. And I remember being confused out there with that. It's hard. It's very hard.
It is confusing.
And you're adding a lot more pressure to the guys. Yeah. I believe it's a good thing. It's a great thing to be able to carry. I think it is.
And law enforcement is not, wrong for potentially misidentifying a person with a gun in a chaotic situation, such as an active shooter.
Yep.
So it's up to the other good guy to make sure that law enforcement does not, misidentify
the training you guys give. I'm sure that's a big part of it. Is if you're taking on this responsibility to carry a gun.
Oh yeah.
And this is what comes with it. What are you going to do when the shit hits the fan? And not just we're going to show you how to shoot. We're going to show you how chaotic things are and how dangerous it is for you and for the law enforcement. Because now that's a thing. That's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
It's probably the most important thing.
Yeah. I train a lot of churches.
Okay.
A lot of churches that have security ministries and stuff. And most of them are off-duty cops or retired retired mill or,
okay.
But they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And then I introduce this to them and they're like, geez.
I'm going to put my gun back in my house.
But then I tell them, look, hey, you guys can still do the Lord's work.
Absolutely.
But you got to do it differently knowing this information. Mm-hmm. So we develop their training and their tactics, and we do it for free too, just so you know.
Nice.
For churches.
Oh, hopefully they take it up on you.
We give back, plus I need some heaven points.
Do it. Trying to buy it. Yeah. Trying to buy your way in.
Yeah, right.
We all trying to buy our way in.
But it's just a matter of just a little bit of information that will hopefully keep people alive, right? That's what tactics and survival is about.
It doesn't stop when you retire. You're not gonna be able to walk away and just say I can't get involved. You're not.
100%.
You might as well have a little advantage.
Yeah, because it could be your family that you have to intervene for.
The guys I talk to that don't, I said, how are you gonna feel if you needed it and you didn't have it? How are you going to wake up in the morning if something happens to one of your family members and you decided that was your decision? Yeah. You could have stopped it or you could have changed it.
I don't know if I could live with that myself.
I don't, and that's why I'm saying is like, dude, you have the option. It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything.
It's not hard. Get something small if you think it's inconvenient.
It could save the day.
Man, not having it, I wouldn't even know what I would think about.
Yeah.
That's something that's just when they tell me, what? Why not?
And right there, it's that heartache. It's like we talk about cops misidentifying someone and not inadvertently, misidentifying them as a threat and shooting them and killing them. The cops doing their job. Was it a mistake of fact? Yeah, it was a mistake of fact. I feel sorry for the good guy that got shot and killed, but the cops got to live with that too. He's got to eat him up because we don't want to do that to people that are the good guys. We want to do that to evildoers, you know?
Yep.
So it's going to eat them up, and that's why we have to expose everyone to that type of thing, because I don't want a cop to be eaten up because of that situation, even though they did the right thing, but. If they've never been exposed to that type of a situation or training, then the likelihood of it happening is going to be real. Yep.
And then the thing is, like, that gun, the responsibility of that gun it should weigh on you.
Yeah.
Every time you pull that trigger, even for good, there's backdrops. You better be willing to. You need to understand. You can make a mistake. Yeah. If you're not willing to. You don't understand what that means, don't carry it. I'm sorry.
100%.
Because mistakes happen, man. You're going to do something good and then you're going to realize something bad happened.
Yeah.
At the same time, you got to be able to live with those things like you talk about. No cop wants to get in a shooting that I know. Nobody, because it's just a nightmare.
No one, yeah.
If people think, guys join the sheriff's department and law enforcement because they want to shoot people. No,
those people are full of crap.
They're just, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
Nobody I know ever, I can't wait to get in a shooting. You mean I want to be on the desk for a year and lose my gun and maybe get trouble because if I don't do it right, the
get
liability.
in trouble, raise that stress level, affect your household, get a divorce, lose family, lose your home because now you have to fight in court and then potentially go into prison.
You don't win a prize. No. Even if you did it all right, you don't. It's a nightmare to go through what the guys have to go through. Yeah. Even if you did it perfect, you're still going to go through so much shit. And everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it.
So it's not like it's a mystery when it happens. No, people are like, I don't want to go through that. But they will if they have to. Yeah. But it's not something you look forward to. It's not even close.
No, why would you? Right?
And even the fighting. Oh, but people, deputies and cops like to fight. No, man, fighting hurts. It sucks.
Oh God, yes.
A fist fight or wrestling on the floor, it sucks.
Yeah, because there's a chance that you could lose.
Or you always get hit by your partners.
You get sprayed by your partners. You get a flashlight
by your partner.
You get punched by your partner.
No, it's not like that. No. It's a very selfless job and a very, very honorable position to be in. But I feel for the guys, and we're trying to do better in here, help them out.
Oh, you are doing that.
We're doing our best, and thank you for coming in. I'm honored you're here. I'm really happy. You answered a lot of questions for me because I on the way over here will go, I can't wait to ask him some stuff because I know this is your wheelhouse. Yeah. And I didn't know. I mean, I'm just talking out loud, but it's cool that you kind of reinforce some of the stuff I've been trying to do here.
We got some good information out, but this is good because there's us old guys that want to relive memories, and that's what happens when I watch. But there's also new guys that want to learn, and there's good guys out there that you've had on that were wrongfully screwed. Yeah. That they want some support and they need that support. Other than feeling that everyone is against me. Yep. But they don't know that there's a lot of people backing them, and I think they need that. I know I would. You know.
They're very appreciative. Yeah. They get off this. They've gotten off the podcast, and I don't bug them. Right. I'm thankful that they came on, but they call me, send me messages. It's the most amazing support. Everybody's coming out. Everyone comes out and sends them messages themselves. Yeah. I don't send anybody. Go call him. Yeah. No, but everybody's contacting them. Everybody's contacting them and saying that's bullshit and that's wrong, and something needs to be done. Yep. Because it's not over. You got to fix it. It's got to be fixed. I'm sorry. I don't believe in it. That happened. It's over. No, dude. I believe in justice.
And people need to step up.
Yep. And that's the big point. Well, hopefully some things change.
Hopefully.
You have anything going on? Anything you want to pump?
No. Other than doing a lot of school stuff, since school started. I got some school contracts. Training churches still. Again,
what's the name of your company, if you don't mind saying?
It's STAR Consulting Group. Okay. STAR stands for Strategies, Tactics, and Resolutions. Nice. And it's just basically doing everything again in my wheelhouse. All the expertise that I had gained through the sheriff department, and I thought, well, you know what, I can exploit this for good or evil, and I'm going to do this for good. I'm going to, I do some free stuff for the community by training, the community still. I still, make a little bit of money off of contracts. Still have a good hobby of doing the range stuff. So that, that's a good hobby, but I like engaging with people, and I love helping people because it's still in me. Yeah, like you said, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So I'm still doing that. And the nice thing is I can do it when I want.
Isn't that great?
I'm retired.
That's the best, right? That's the best. That's the best part of it.
Absolutely.
Well, you're doing something you love still.
I do.
That's outstanding.
I do, and I think it, it'll benefit people.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. People that want to, go to your services, they're looking for help. Yeah. And you're teaching them right. Come on, you trained me. I think I did it right.
Yeah, no doubt. You're here. Survival, right? Yeah. I'll underscore that. And a lot of things that I have been doing for good is I do subject matter expert work for attorneys. Nice. In defending good people.
Good.
So
they need it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that I see as wrongdoings by agencies against deputy sheriffs, law enforcement officers that are trying to do the right thing, and the agencies aren't taking care, or did not take care of them through training, and they're now letting them out to dry.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
No, it's like a bully thing again.
Yeah,
I don't like it at all, and I'm glad you're doing it. You're advocating. But God bless you. That's outstanding.
I appreciate that.
I know some people personally that have benefited from you helping them and are working on their cases and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They're better for having you.
Well, I hope to continue to do it while everything's still fresh in my head, right?
Well, as long as we can do it, we'll do it. I mean, as long as I can, I'll keep doing it. You know, someday everything ends. Yeah. But right now I'm good.
But right now you're good, and you're doing good stuff.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So I'll get your links up for anything you want to post.
Definitely, I appreciate that.
And come back and visit.
No doubt. I look forward to it.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
I will.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.